I don't want to interrupt your workout. Daphne nodded. Yes, I'd really like to talk with you. Amber gave her what she hoped looked like a grateful smile and stepped down. That sounds great. Taking her hand, she said, I'm Amber Patterson. Pleasure to meet you. Later that evening, Amber lay in a bubble bath, sipping a glass of Merlot and staring at the photo in Entrepreneur magazine. Smiling, she put it down, closed her eyes, and rested her head on the edge of the tub. She was feeling very satisfied about how well things had gone that day. She'd been prepared for it to drag out even longer, but Daphne made it easy for her. After they dispensed with the small talk over coffee, they'd gotten down to the real reason she'd elicited Daphne's interest. It's impossible for someone who hasn't experienced CF to understand, Daphne said, her blue eyes alive with passion. Julie was never a burden to me, but in high school my friends were always pushing me to leave her behind, not let her tag along. They didn't understand that I never knew when she'd be hospitalized, or if she'd even make it out again. Every moment was precious. Amber leaned forward and did her best to look interested, while she calculated the total worth of the diamonds on Daphne's ears, the tennis bracelet on her wrist, and the huge diamond on her tanned and perfectly manicured finger. She must have had at least $100 grand walking around on her size 4 body, and all she could do was whine about her sad childhood. Amber suppressed a yawn and gave Daphne a tight smile. I know. I used to stay home from school to be with my sister so that my mom could go to work. She almost lost her job from taking so much time off, and the last thing we could afford was for her to lose our health insurance. She was pleased with how easily the lie came to her lips. Oh, that's terrible, Daphne clucked. That's another reason my foundation is so important to me. We provide financial assistance to families who aren't able to afford the care they need. It's been a big part of the mission of Julie's Smile for as long as I can remember. Amber feigned shock. Julie's Smile is your foundation? It's the same Julie? I know all about Julie's Smile, been reading about all you do for years. I'm so in awe. Daphne nodded. I started it right after grad school. In fact, my husband was my first benefactor. Here she'd smiled, perhaps a bit embarrassed. That's how we met. Aren't you preparing for a big fundraiser right now? As a matter of fact, we are. It's a few months away, but still lots to do. Oh, never mind. No, what? Amber pressed. Well, I was just going to see if maybe you'd like to help. It would be nice to have someone who understands. I'd love to help in any way, Amber interrupted. I don't make a lot of money, but I definitely have time to donate. What you're doing is so important. When I think of the difference it makes. She bit her lip and blinked back tears. Daphne smiled. Wonderful. She pulled out a card engraved with her name and address. Here you are. Committee is meeting at my house Thursday morning at 10. Can you make it? Amber had given her a wide smile, still trying to look as though the disease was first in her mind. I wouldn't miss it. 2. The rocking rhythm of the Saturday train from Bishop's Harbor to New York lulled Amber into a soothing reverie, far removed from the rigid discipline of her workday week. She sat by the window, resting her head against the seat back, occasionally opening her eyes to glance at the passing scenery. She thought back to the first time she'd ridden on a train, when she was 7 years old. It was July in Missouri, the hottest, muggiest month of the summer, and the train's air conditioning had been on the blink. She could still picture her mother sitting across.